Championship, now the WBSC, of course. So Ephraim Wang set to deliver his first pitch of the afternoon. Squaring to bunt is Sebastian Silveira. Takes a ball outside. Wang in for a strike, evens the count at 1 ball, 1 strike here. Again, if you're just getting in with us on Game Time, Blair Sedford with you for this one, Singapore and Venezuela. Singapore 3 up, 3 down in the top of the first. This is Sebastian Silveira at the plate for Venezuela here in the bottom half. Squares again and looks at a pitch just off the outside corner and maybe down as well. That hint of a breeze just continues to circulate here around Vente de Mero Stadium. 20th of January is the English interpretation. Squares again and ball 4 outside. So a leadoff walk to Sebastian Silveira. And Wang having a little bit of trouble finding the strike zone right now. He's not missing by much, but he is missing. And that will bring up Michael Garcia. Squaring early is Garcia, pulls back and takes a strike. There's a new stealing rule in effect for the WBSC events, effective with this tournament. The previous rule was you could leave base when the ball left the pitcher's hand. And this one is up and in and gets past the catcher Raj, and a free base for Sebastian Silveira. But if you're attempting to steal now, you can leave when the pitcher's front foot comes down into contact with the ground. I talked with a couple of umpires yesterday about what they thought was the impact of this change, and honestly it's not a lot. If you watch where the front foot comes down, the pitcher's arm is mostly coming through, and you're talking hundredths of a second in terms of the variability on the release of the ball. So, slight advantage, maybe, to the runner, but you've still got to be smart and choose your spots when you're going to try to steal a base. That one up and in again on Michael Garcia, and Wang just needs to settle down a little bit. You see him take a walk in behind the plate. We're focused on Garcia, but Wang went for a little walk in behind the circle. Garcia squares early again and gets this one down by accident. Was trying to get out of the way if nothing else, but give him a sacrifice bunt as that's well executed, and it moves Sebastian Silveira up to third base. Francisco Villegas, big left-handed batter, steps in at the back of the box. Singapore is in as tight as you can get defensively. They are all in tight, and this one is smashed through the first base hole, and an RBI for Villegas. He didn't waste any time, jumped on the first pitch from Wang, and drove that through the gap between first and second. Wouldn't have mattered if they were back at normal depth. That one was getting through no matter what. So an early 1-0 lead here for Venezuela. They jump out on top. And this one is lifted foul. That's going to go out of play on the left side, and a couple of fans over there almost got a souvenir. The other game that's underway here at the WBSC U-23 Men's Softball World Cup, New Zealand was up big on Argentina. That was 10-2 at last look. And here is an identical base hit for Paredes as he goes right to the same spot as Villegas. He goes coast to coast, and runners at first and third for Venezuela, who brought their hitting shoes here early. Two hard hit singles.
U-23 Men's Softball World Cup, New Zealand was up big on Argentina. That was 10-2 at last look. And here is an identical big...
The pair of hard hit balls has Venezuela out in the lead. Little change up there from Ephraim Wang. And that one misses upstairs from Wang. Got a shot at this one, but it's going to go right over our heads, and that one is going to probably make the grounds out near the front entrance to Vente de Janeiro Stadium. The very busy and bustling city of Sincelejo in Sucre here in Colombia. Up and away again from Wang. Defense is in on the right side of the infield. Caden Towett short. He's in front of the baseline. Well in front of the baseline is Ute on second base. And this one gets into the crowd, and guy in the orange shirt there got a nice souvenir. Now, unlike a baseball game, usually you're expected to bring those back at a softball event. This one is down low, ball four. Let's load the bases as John Flores works a walk, the second of the inning. Sebastian Silvera walked leading off. He came around on the RBI single by Villegas. And for Jefferson Colmenares, an opportunity to extend the lead here for Venezuela. Again, the infield is very tight for Singapore, especially Ute out at second base. That one just misses downstairs, and Wang is continuing to struggle to find the strike zone. Look at a few new balls here for our home plate umpire, Isidro Almonte. Just misses down low. Good hitters count here for Jefferson Colmenares. Venezuela looking to build on this lead. And that one not close. Left fielder Chia Tong is way over towards the line. There is a big gap out in center left. Catcher Raj is going to go out and have a defensive conference with his pitcher Wang. Now Monte will let him know that's his conference for the inning, I believe. Breeze has picked up a little, blowing now almost right to left across the outfield. Wang sets. And in for a strike. Make it 3-1 to Jefferson Colmenares, taking all the way on that 3-0 pitch. And this one skips in, ball 4, and that is going to bring across Francisco Villegas. Make it 2-0 for Venezuela, and Colmenares will pick up an RBI the easy way. Espinoza will get a look at Ephraim Wang. It's a steady diet of big lads here from Venezuela. This is an offensive line team that they've brought. In for a strike from Wang. Get a good look there at Espinoza. Wang checking his footing. He's had several pitches that have missed up and away through that left side batter's box. Chop foul down the left side. Jorge Lima, who was a pretty fair middle infielder when he wore these colors on the field, he managed to get out of the way in that third base coach's box. And sometimes that's all you can do, is just get out of the way in the third base coach's box. Ephraim looks skyward. Ephraim Wang, pitcher for Singapore, looks skyward after that pitch. He's struggling with his control. He knows it, but he just hasn't been able to find the right release point right now. Again, chopped foul down the left side by Espinoza. If I was Remy Chan, I would be playing with my foot on the chalk line. Wang sets again. Espinoza awaits at the plate. And this one is drilled. And that's going to get past the left fielder, Tong. It's going to go all the way to the wall. Espinoza sliding headfirst into the third base. Clears the bases. And a big let's go from Espinoza. As you see the bench celebrating. High fives all the way around. Tough spot for left fielder Chia Tong. Caught halfway in between, wanted to dive for it, thought better of it, and by the time he made up his And Chia Tong. Orlando Rodriguez, the 8th batter for Venezuela. They're not done yet. And he gets stuck. And Wang, hands up to the head. Certainly not what he wanted to do there in that spot. And looks skyward. That squirts away, and into score comes Espinoza. Up to second with a big lead, and he's almost daring him to try to throw it. Some reckless abandon out there from Orlando Rodriguez. So make it 6 for Venezuela and counting here in the bottom of the first. Right back up the middle off the bat of Juan Pereira. They're going to hold Orlando Rodriguez, and with good reason, a good strong throw in from Kyun Yap out in center. So we'll go back to the top of the shop. Sebastian Silvera got all this going about 20 minutes ago. He worked a leadoff walk, came around to score. Venezuela has piled on since then. There's a strike on the outside corner. Wang will look for that pitch on the lefty Silvera. Just misses the outside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike. That's going to go foul down the left side. There's a lot of room here, but unable to get over to that one was Chia Tong. And I look down the right field side, and we've got a couple of folks headed to the Singapore bullpen. We'll see if we can put some names to those numbers. That one misses outside. Zan Ton is down in the bullpen. And upstairs again, and he's consistently missed with that pitch. Whether it's been a righty or a lefty, hasn't been able to dial that one in. He's trying to think, I think he's trying to throw a curve, a backdoor curve to a lefty here, but his release point is off, and it's well up in the zone. That one down in the dirt. Second walk of the inning for Sebastian Silvera. A good eye at the plate. That's exactly what you want from your leadoff batter. So bases loaded once again. Michael Garcia, the only out of the inning so far, and he was asked to bunt, did a good job of it. That up and in pitch, he managed to get the bat on it and lay it down for a bunt. Misses here. Looked like Wang took a little bit off that one. Haven't seen him throw the changeup to any real great effect. Garcia's little stutter step up to the front of the box, but took a strike for all of that. So he's down in a count 0-2. And there's a good-looking changeup again from Wang, and he gets Garcia to fan over the top of it for the second out of the inning. And if he can work that pitch in, maybe he can try to get out of this inning and leave 3 Venezuela runners aboard. They've already done a lot of damage. And this guy right here, Francisco Villegas, he picked up the first of the RBIs, drilled one between first and second base. And now with 2 out, the Singapore defense can breathe a little bit easier. They can at least play back at normal depth. U-23 has been well in front of the baseline for just about the whole inning. That one's going to go up the middle. It's going to get through. Here's 1, here's 2 to score as Venezuela pushes the lead to 8. Francisco Villegas picks up another 2 RBIs. And that one just had eyes. It went over. I think that's possibly going to be it for Ephraim Wang. They've got the bullpen door open down the right field side. Well, they're taking as long as possible as they can out there with this meeting. Ephraim Wang is going to wave his catcher, K. Raj, back behind the plate. It's going to be Ephraim Wang to try and clean up the first inning here. Elvi Paredes to the dish, singled, came around to score. A little half-hearted swing, and yes, he went around, says Isidro Almonte. Paredes was asking if maybe he could go down to Hamamoto, the umpire, at third, but Almonte had him on the swing. That one misses down and away. And that one is hammered through the 5.5 hole by Paredes. He picks up his second hit of the inning, 2 for 2 on the tournament. Gathers in an RBI as well. And Venezuela continues their offensive onslaught here in the first inning. Bottom of the first, and we are coming up on about 24 minutes at bat for Venezuela and counting. John Flores walked and scored. Goes after that first pitch and fouls it off at the plate. Villegas out at second. Paredes is at first. And that one gets past Raj on the bounce. And both runners now up into scoring position. Very tough first inning here for Ephraim Wang and this young team from Singapore. Raj will walk the ball out and give his catcher a bit of a break. That'll be foul on the left side. Remy Chan will go get that one for Singapore. I know you don't see them in your shot there, but there continue to be people streaming into the stadium, and everybody seems to be congregated in the upper rows underneath the partial roof. And that one clipped John Flores. We're going to load the bases for the third time here in the bottom of the first inning. Jefferson Colmenares will come to the dish, and he's already got an RBI. Second hit by pitch here in the inning for Ephraim Wang. He has thrown a lot of pitches. Big cut comes up empty from Jefferson Colmenares. A bases loaded walk earlier in the inning, so he's already seen this situation once. And that one again, Wang just having either trouble with the landing or something else is bothering him, but he's just not been able to spot that pitch in whatsoever. This one skips in. Raj does a good job to get at least a piece of it, and it only squirts away a couple of feet, not far. So we'll get reset. And we've got some rain falling now here too in Sincelejo, and that's certainly not helping with the grip with Ephraim Wang either. As there was rain in the forecast, and it is one of those spots on the globe where we might get a lot of rain all at once, and then it might just disappear. At least, let's hope it's certainly not persistent. We're seeing everybody now moving up under the pavilions here at Vente de Janeiro Stadium. Swing and a miss there by Colmenares. Boy, he went after that one hard. Started out sunny this morning, but it got overcast by game time. And again, let's hope this little sprinkle is all what we get. Line shot just off the glove of Ute out at second. As the ball squirts away from Wang, around comes the third run. They clear the bases again. Jefferson Colmenares ends up at second on the play.
And we're back here at the WBSC U-23 Men's Softball World Cup. Singapore has gone back out onto the field. We had just about an hour rain delay still in the bottom of the first inning. Venezuela has hardly missed a pitch here this afternoon. They have come out swinging and have piled up 12 big runs and counting here in the bottom of the first inning. Been a tough bottom of the first rather for the starter, Ephraim Wang for Singapore. He has stayed in the game. They had Zanton was warming up in the bullpen prior to that rain delay. We'll see if he stands ready, but it looks like they're going to try and get Ephraim Wang out of this inning. So we'll set the scene for you as Venezuela comes back to the plate. There you see Zactiel Espinoza. He's already got a bases-clearing triple, 3 RBIs to his name in his first at-bat at the inning. Jefferson Colmenares is out at second base. And Wang misses high on the first pitch of Espinoza's second at-bat of the inning. And downstairs, ball 2. Wang has had problems with that landing area. He has kicked at the dirt multiple times. After the rain stop, they come out with the compactor, and they really worked on the landing area for the pitchers. The grounds crew here did a great job. They got the tarp out in a hurry, covered things up. This one is going to go foul out of play. They covered up the pitching area as well as the home plate area. It never really rained hard. It was certainly not a downpour, but it was more than enough to get the players off the field, absolutely. That lasted probably for half an hour. The grounds crew were out fairly regularly. They raked the entire infield. And again, this is a converted baseball field, so that's why the dirt area of the infield looks so big. Laced just foul down the third base side. Espinoza has been in front of pitches all game. His first at bat, he laced a couple down the third base side and then ultimately hit a line shot to left that got past the left fielder, Chia Tung. Still a little bit slippery out in the outfield, I would imagine, so they took that ball out of play. Wang gets a new one. And a little bleeder, and Wang ultimately gets out of the inning on the ground out by Espinoza, but Venezuela pile up 12 in a very impressive debut inning for our neighbors just to the east. We'll take a break. We'll go to the top of the second. Stay with us here on Game Time. Well, we're back for the top of the second inning. And we've got a new pitcher for Venezuela. Eduardo Juarez goes 3 up, 3 down in the top of the first. And then after an hour rain delay, we're going to see Luis Amaro here for Venezuela. Tall, thin, young right-hander. We'll get everybody set at their defensive positions. Jefferson Colmenares, the last one to get onto the field over at first. Venezuela with the wristbands, not going for the signals, and Luke Young chases the first pitch up and out for strike one. That one misses up high, so we'll even the count 1-1. And just down low, so 2-1 for young Mr. Amara. We'll call it even at 2. And a good take there by Luke Young to not chase that one up and out of the zone. Little two-hopper, a spinner down to first base. Alvi Paradis makes the grab, and Luke Young, 3 unassisted in your for Singapore. He is judged to have gone around on that one. Just a single at bat at the U-18 World Cup back in 2023 for Raj, but he made the most of it with a double. Picked up an RBI in the process. That one misses upstairs and away. Very dominating first inning for Eduardo Juarez, and he will get the ball the majority of the time in a called strike on the outside corner. Raj down on strikes. At that qualifier last year, Juarez, 36 innings pitched and a 1.36 ERA, gave up just 15 hits, 4-3 record over that time frame. 51 strikeouts in the 36 innings. That's a decent week's worth of work. A foul tip into the breadbasket there of the catcher Espinoza. Rishan To at the plate, the designated player for Singapore, and working very quickly is Amara, and he pumps in a strike. And a changeup and a good one gets Rishan To out in front. And a similar pattern for the Venezuela pitchers. They give up a ground ball and then pick up a pair of strikeouts. 3 up, 3 down goes Singapore in the top of the second. Venezuela to the plate here in the bottom half. Coming up, they've got this one well in hand. Ephraim Wang remains in the game. You see him in the pitcher's circle for Singapore. They're going to ask him to gut this one out against this hard-hitting Venezuelan squad. Orlando Rodriguez, hit by a pitch, came around to score in the first inning. 16 men to the plate for Venezuela in the bottom of the first inning. You see the 12 big runs on the board. That one to the screen from Wang. Before the rain delay, we talked that he was struggling with his control a little bit. He was missing high with a lot of the pitches. To Hopper. Oh, a nice play over there at short. Caden Toe on the backhand, and then a nice strong throw over to first. Well, we'll have to wait for that one. Juan Pereira to the plate. First pitch swinging. He laces this out to right, drifting back to make the grab is Koji Ung. And 2 down just that quickly for Venezuela here in the second. Lots of Venezuela fans here. They brought all the noisemakers available to them and more. They always do. Always great to see and chat with the Venezuela fans. Sadly, I don't have a language in common with them other than the love of the game, and it's great to always see them at the ballpark supporting their national team. Upstairs to Sebastian Silvera on his third at-bat of the game already, or third appearance, let's say, because he's got 2 walks, but he's also scored twice. That's exactly what you want out of your leadoff batter. Get on base and come around. That's chopped foul, and some good hands shown over there. Venezuela first base coach. Slap attempt. Don't see that a lot in the game these days. There was a time when just about every leadoff batter would be able to run up through the box and make solid contact, but Sebastian Silvera showing he's going to try that. You put some pressure on the defense when you're able to do things like that. Force them to have to come in a few steps and limit their range, and you might be able to sneak one by them. It's high. 3-2. Silvera trying to get on base for the third time in his third at bat. Punched out to center. Keon Yep will come across to make the grab in a 3-up, 3-down inning, and a much-needed 3-up, 3-down inning for Ephraim Wang. They hold Venezuela. Remy Chan, Caden Toe, and Yap Kiyun will be the scheduled batters here for Singapore, top of the third inning. They need to push across a couple of runs here to try and extend this game. Luis Amaro on for his second inning of work for Venezuela. Eduardo Juarez started, as we've mentioned, and looked pretty good in the first, but an hour rain delay put an end to his outing. Strike to the outside corner, framed up very nicely by Zactiel Espinoza. Just misses down low. And a swing through, down on strikes goes Remy Chan. 3 in a row now for Amaro. Caden Toe to the plate. And that one almost skipped in by Amaro. Pushes the rise ball right past Caden Toe. Sometimes it happens in the game. You make a nice play on defense. You get to come up and you get to make something happen on offense. Singapore still looking for their first base runner, Caden Toe, with a real nice defensive play. That was in the bottom of the second. Here now the top of the third. And Espinoza immediately popped out to go see his pitcher. I don't know if he got crossed up on that one, but he couldn't wait to get out there and have a quick conversation. There's the big rise ball again from Amaro, and nobody from Singapore just yet has been able to catch up to it. Called strike 3. Make it 4 straight for Luis Amaro. For Singapore. 9 batter, and he will try to break this goose egg. Thought about putting a bunt down, but takes a called strike. The wind, which was blowing, breeze, which was blowing previously from right to left, has changed angles on us, and now it's much more left to right, and perhaps even blowing out a little bit to right. It's going to be a poke to get one out of here. This is, as we've said, a converted baseball diamond here at Vente Inero Stadium. 20th of January, which is a religious festival here in Colombia. Change up, little slow roller, and a feet first slide, but a nice defensive play by Sebastian Sierra to throw out Yap Ki Yoon. We'll go.
Visita WBSC.org y mantente actualizado de todo lo que sucede en la Copa Mundial de Softball Masculino
we go to the home half of the third inning. Venezuela coming back to the plate. It was a tale of two cities. In the first, piled up 12 runs. In the second, 3 up, 3 down. We'll see what we get here. And I think we've got a pinch hitter coming on here for Venezuela as I see number 14 approaching the plate, and that is Wilmer Sierra. He'll be batting for Michael Garcia. So this is the 2 spot in the order for Venezuela. That pitch just a little bit high from Ephraim Wang and settled down nicely in the second inning. And a really good-looking drop there from Wang. Going over the top is Sierra. And that one upstairs. Born in 2006. So Sierra, just 20 years old. But he's got his first base hit here at the U-23 World Cup as he laces that over the head of the shortstop, Caden Toe. And always nice when you get, and he's really working it over there at first base too. You saw him. There's a congratulations. And we're going to empty the bench here, it looks like. Jorge Lima, the skipper for Venezuela. This is Jose Benyose. And I apologize in advance if I'm not getting the name correct. We didn't get a chance to talk to Venezuela yesterday at the technical meeting. We missed them. Jose Benyose. He looks at a strike. Batting for Francisco Villegas. Villegas 2 for 2 with 3 RBIs and 2 runs scored. I guess you could say he's done enough damage for the afternoon. And that one up and in again. I'm sure if he gets a chance to throw in between games, Ephraim Wang will be trying to spot that pitch in, see if he can get it dialed in for a strike. So quick defensive conference at the board. Everybody is back to their positions. This one bounced in and ball 4 to Benyose. So another pinch hitter. Jose Villavicencio. Villancicio. I stand corrected by our PA address announcer. And Wang pours in strike one. Paredes was 2 for 2 with 2 runs scored and an RBI. And this one, short right. That's going to fall in for a base hit. And being held, now they've got too many guys out at second base. Has to scramble and gets back to first. Just. Villavicencio got a little bit ahead of himself and just about ran up the heels of Benose because the stop sign had got out on third for Sierra. But here in the third inning, a trio of pinch hitters have got the bases loaded. And we've got another pinch hitter coming up is John Flores. He's going to give way to, we'll tell you in just a second who number 23 is. That is Jaker Quintero. Yaker, I'm going to go with. Yaker Quintero. Backup catcher. And Venezuela in the enviable position here of being able to empty the bench and to get everybody in at bat very early in the tournament. Always important because for your non-starters, you get into crunch time and as somebody's not hitting the ball and you need to call on somebody on the bench, you don't want to be calling on anybody cold. You want to make sure that your guys have got a couple of at-bats here and there. And this is one of those opportunities to build some confidence. Venezuela threatening the run-ahead rule here, too, which in the third inning, they would need 3 more to finalize that run-ahead win. That one is down to third. Back on the bag, very alertly, is Sierra. Sometimes as a new entrant into the game, you can be a little over-anxious, too, and get caught off. Remy Chan tried to put the tag on him. But was that foul? I guess that was ruled foul. Yeah, everybody's back at the plate, so apologies. I didn't see the foul call. Picking up some sunshine out here on the field all of a sudden after that hour rain delay between 1:30 and 2:30 local. And ball 4. Another run will come in by way of the walk. So Sierra completes his round trip. Benose moves up to third base. Up to second goes Villavicencio and Quintero. In to run. Jefferson Colmenares will stay in the game. 1 for 1 with a walk. That was a bases loaded walk back in the first, so he picked up an RBI. He had 2 RBIs later in the inning, so 3 on the game. And a big opportunity here to add to this and potentially put an end to this one early. That one is foul. And a pretty good hurdling act there, too, I've got to say. Benose trying to get over top of Remy Chan down there at third. Chan has had a lot of balls come his way. Fortunately, or not, depending on your perspective, most of them have been foul. Infield in again for Singapore, where they've been for most of the game. This one skips in, and a good job there behind the plate by Raj to keep that in front of him. Wang to the board. And that one is sent skyward, but that's going to get out of play down the right side. Well up into the stands. It just about rolls back to the field. Drilled right at the center fielder, Kyung Yip, but trotting home to make it 14. So give Colmenares an RBI sac fly. Banus comes through. In the first, later would end the first with a ground out, as Venezuela sent 16 players to the plate